Greetings, metal community, and happy new year to everybody if it's that time of the day that you have, went past midnight. It's close to midnight here, but I just wanted to do the last collection update. I will go through a bunch of them pretty fast because it's probably not interesting for you at all, but I'm just going to show what I have received in the mail that I haven't talked about yet. In the background we are playing an excellent Italian band called Devoid of Thought, out on Everlasting Spew, of course. Outer World Graves, great Italian death metal band. Turn it up a little bit because it's so damn great. Yeah, not the typical Italian death metal because they normally play fast and very technical. This is technical, but it's kind of in a way there's several parts here, or big parts of some songs that are very kind of if Vector had played death metal, it would sound like this. Deep vocals, as you can hear, and but a lot of thrash elements in a couple of the songs. Not all the songs, but overall a great death metal release. Came out this year. Don't know where it will end on the list. It's excellent stuff, but there was so many to pick from. Will shoot my list soon, but I haven't decided yet. Another thing I will show you, the new Noxious Ruin magazine. I think a lot of people know this by now. Yeah, a lot of cool interviews and pictures. I also have the normal mixtape with Coffin's Parallax Occlusion, Coffin Mold, Fumes, Temple Void, etc. Killer tape. Bought my copy through Extremely Rotten Productions, as always. So over to the CDs, a couple of vinyls as well. This is an old Norwegian hard rock band, totally interesting for the most part. Road, breaking out their second album from '86, I think. One of my first hard rock bands that I saw live, so I wanted to just have this. It was cheap and on sale. It's just like cardboard. Yeah, if you like hard rock, you can check it out. I mean, this is just rock and roll. The first song here is pretty good, but so and so. Then I bought 3 albums of Def Leppard. This was also sale. Was a fan of Def Leppard in early 80s or mid 80s. Never heard this when I was younger or a kid. Not very impressed by it. I must say this is hard rock, and for me to get into hard rock albums I haven't heard before now, it's pretty damn difficult. Then this, which is my favorite, High and Dry. This was actually pretty nice to listen to again. Kind of forgotten how it was, and it holds up very good. So surprised by that. Pyromania was my favorite, I think, but that has changed now. After 6-7 songs, I was kind of. Yeah, it was enough, but overall it's their next second best album, I think. Then I bought 2 albums of Eradicator, and I shown I think it was 2012 album, which was killer thrash album. This 2015 Dive Bomb Records released this. It's pretty good, but it's not like near close as good as the first one, but still a good thrash album. This was from 19. Pretty boring, not much trash left in them, and yeah, not a good album. But you know, the first album was so damn good, I just blind bought the two. But yeah, was it worth the money? No, but sometimes you miss. Then I bought my two first CDs, or you know, physical formats of a pretty well-known thrash metal band, but I've never been a big fan of this band, mostly due to the vocalist. That's Megadeth. And people say, you know, don't you like Megadeth? I really like the music, but I just always struggled with Dave Mustaine's vocals. Peace Hells knew this pretty well, and it was kind of, yeah, it's good, but it's not like more than that. Rust in Peace didn't know much about this, but this was actually better than Peace Hells, which surprised me a little bit. This was pretty good, so I also ordered a couple more of the old Megadeth, just because I need to force myself to listen to it more. But I know the music. It's just I need to see if I can adjust my hearing to the voice of Dave Mustaine. Then we have Fuji Tropical Sun. I talked about the newest vinyl a couple of updates ago. Yeah, it's good death metal, but it's not fantastic. It's like solid. It's a solid listen. Has these film intros, and you know it's based on Fuji's movies. So, but you know, it is a solid death metal release, but not fantastic. I've seen a lot of people love this band, but yeah, fine by me. In the same package, Time to Kill Records released a Fuji, and they also have Infiltration. This is just you know, death metal, like US death metal. Again, solid but not fantastic. Yeah. Then we're getting into some better stuff. I'm gonna take out some old stuff first. This is Sacralis, Infera, Destino. I think they're from Germany. Reason why I bought it was Ken had this playing in the background. It's a you know, all-female band from back in 2000, I think. And back then there was not many women playing in extreme metal, and this is solid death metal, and you know, straightforward, no nonsense. All is well done. So enjoyed it. Will I pull it out many times? Maybe not, but it's kind of nice to have some more female death metal, because there's way too little of that. Then we have Necrobiosis, also a old reissue. Came out in '94 originally. It's from Poland. Pretty good death metal album. Not sounding so Polish, but a great listen. Pretty cool cover as well. So yeah, if you it sounds like '94 death metal, and there was a lot of good stuff in the, you know, early to mid '90s, just before the death metal kind of took a drop. So really enjoyed this one, Necrobiosis with My Soul. Then we have one that Brandon von Doom, Soulforge, Fields of Decay, great thrash metal. I was, you know, of course expecting it to be good when Brandon, you know, bragged about it, how good it was. But you know, I think they're from Australia, and sometimes we dig the bands. You know, it came pretty beat up in the mail, but I will change that. pretty cool. So yeah, I would say towards thrash, but more towards kind of metal church, especially the vocals is more towards Dave Vane's vocals. A little bit more gritty, but still, yeah, and music is great. So this was a very good tip from Brandon. So if you can get hold of this, if you like thrash and like metal church, check it out. Great stuff. Cantique, Lépreux, French, I think, or could be Canada, French Canada, but you know, I don't know. Sectes, kind of primitive black metal. They used to be more atmospheric, but they kind of got a little bit more back to black metal roots on this, and pretty good album or EP. It's kind of a limited, you know, 40 or 300. But yeah, another solid release from Cantique Lépreux. If you're into black metal, then we have Dakhma with the album Blessings of Amurdad. This is a great release. I mean, but I don't know where to put it musically. It's just, it has this Sumerian themed lyrics, and also kind of the Sumerian, if you think a little bit, kind of a death metal version of Malakesh in a way, if that makes any sense at all. It is death metal, but it has a lot of black metal feel to it, and black metal sequences going on. But a great album. I listened to this a lot of times. Should have bought the vinyl because the cover is pretty cool. I don't know if the vinyl is out yet. You know, there's so much delay on vinyls that, yeah. Another excellent album this year is The Temple. I was going for the vinyl. I have ordered the vinyl as well, but that won't come out in, yeah, I don't know, early 2020, January or something. This is actually, would say, a black metal version of Ulcerate. Has a lot of the same build-ups musically. It's of course not as deep. The drummer is not as technical as the drummer in Ulcerate, but the vocals are kind of the same way of singing, but not as deep. And yeah, great song structure. Really like this album. Again, an album that kind of does not fit in any genres, but I would say if you like Ulcerate, check this out. If you think Ulcerate is too dark and deep, also check this out, because it's kind of a lighter tone on it. But yeah, great stuff, and it needs some spins to get into. But yeah, The Temple, self-titled album, great stuff. Then a demo EP that I've seen a lot of people talk about, Body Asphyxiation Science with Space Adaptation Syndrome. Yeah, it's late in the year, so it's difficult to read. Yeah, great death metal, kind of like a lot of other death metal. You know, cool sticker as well. I think a lot of, at least some of my viewers, has this one. Yeah, I kind of stopped buying demos and EPs, but had to have this one as well, you know. Then an album I haven't heard this more than a couple of times. New Funeral Mists, Deiform, absolute killer black metal. Have some very furious, vicious songs on air. So angry, but it's kind of variated in tempo as well. But it's a lot of aggression on it, and yeah, it will probably get. If I had gotten this a month ago, I would, add it to a list maybe. But yeah, the first impression is very good. So looking forward to spending more time with this. It's a long album, and that can pull it down when it comes to black metal if it's too intense and too long. But we'll have to see what happens. Then I got this by a mistake. It's Inert Vermin. Don't know where Inert from. I haven't checked that out. Limited edition through Neckbreaker Records. I ordered the new Canum, but got this. So, but we sorted it out. So I will keep it. Music. This is. My initial thought was actually Slayer Season Abyss death metal version. It's kind of a death metal band playing Slayer songs in a way. It's my feel to it. I've just spun this once, but that was kind of what popped up in my head. Then the new voices from England, London, from the London scene, I think. Mr. Gray on drums, Loins, what's the other guy's name from Akkerkokke? I think they started this band when Akkerkokke kind of took a break and started this. It has the avant-garde elements of Akkerkokke, but it's more kind of black metal, avant-garde. But it's also, moments here that sounds just like Akkerkokke. And I'm very happy they've put the Petrograph song on air. That has been out for 3 or 4 years at least. One of their best songs, but it didn't fit on their previous album. So, but yeah, this is weird. It's twisted. It's sometimes brilliant, sometimes not very good. A couple of songs here that are totally unnecessary for me, but it is for the most part clean vocals, double clean vocals a lot of times, some blackened screams and hollows, some small parts of death metal vocals as well, and yeah, but it's very weird. There's nothing sounding like this, I think, apart from Akkerkokke on their more avant-garde parts. But yeah, overall great album, but would have been even better if they had it's kind of 70 minutes long. They could have done it 50 minutes long and had a top-notch album. But yeah, played it a lot of times. You need to play it a lot of times. It's interesting, to say the least, and yeah, out on Church Road Records. I'm a fan of this band, so I'm kind of, yeah, I just used to the sound, so it's not so weird for me. Then I think we're going to Brazil with Scrupulous, and the title is Ostia and Genocide. Probably wrong, but weird cover, death metal. The vocals are reminding me of what's that band's name? Mythological Cold Towers. It has kind of this a little bit shouting, not so deep death vocals. A pretty solid album. Haven't played this enough, but I will play it more because I like what I'm hearing. It doesn't sound like what a lot of other death metal bands do these days. So yeah, I will give this more spins, and but it sounds very good and kind of does not sound like a lot of the other stuff that I have. And you know, talking about females in death metal, we have Xenon from Norway. This came out in 2004 originally, I think. Three, you know, guitarist, bass player, and the vocalist. They are women, and you know, they have a male drummer. Weird death metal, kind of more a harsh, more towards black metal on the vocals. But she do growl properly, but unfortunately she decided not to do that often. A bit twisted. I just bought it because I remembered the name. I paid, I think, €3 for it. So I just remember the name, and yeah, it is what it is. It's not fantastic. It's not, but it's kind of Norwegian death metal history, so it's kind of nice to have it. Then I went ahead, and I'm not a guy who like to spend a lot of money on original presses, you know, buying from private sellers, because I like to support bands and labels directly, and not give private persons my hard-earned money. But sometimes I do. This is a band that I've been fan of since '98, the Chasm, Conjuration of the Spectral Empire. I'm just missing 2 Chasm albums now. That's one of the reasons why I bought it. The label that they are on now, I don't know why they haven't released it or reissued it more times. Because, you know, the world need more editions of the Chasm. So if somebody who looks at this video and know somebody that are connected with this band, yeah, I don't know what the label is called now that they are signed. They are all digitally released recently, but get some physical formats out there for Pete's sake. That was the CDs. Spent way too long time on this shit. And the other one I bought in the same package was the 10-inch Hypnosia Violent Intensity. Yeah, a excellent thrash metal band from Sweden. For fans of early Creator, stuff like that. Yeah, I just had to have this. It was not very expensive, but a little bit over what I normally want to pay. But yeah, it's in pretty good condition as well. The vinyl has some hairline because there was no inner on it. It was just the cardboard, and you know, you can't have this came out in '99 or something, or 2000. My copy is 290 or 500. There are still some for sale, but they are getting very expensive. But killer thrash of the early German kind from Sweden, Hypnosia. Then I got a package in from Invictus Records. I think they're from Ireland. Sepulcre with Ascent through Morbid, Transcendence. This has kind of a glowing logo, so if you turn off the light you can see the outlinings of the logo, which is pretty damn cool. I tried to shut off the light and film it, but it didn't show on the camera, unfortunately. Has this inner with lyrics and some blackness on the other side, and so very cool. And I like it when they do EPs, 4-track EPs, and they do it single-sided. I never understood why they have to do 2 songs each side. So you have 4 songs here, and then you have this very cool image on the backside. Musically, excellent death metal in, you know, the new wave of death metal. Not as murky as a lot of bands are, but a killer EP or demo. Actually, I think this was at least released in 2020, but yeah, this is a reissue kind of from the demo. Love the cover as well, but the music here is absolute killer. Everybody who are into the death metal scene of today, you know, need to check this out because it's absolute killer stuff. In the same package I ordered, and I didn't want to order this vinyl, but it is my favorite Runemagick and Resurrection in Blood, their 3rd album. It's kind of the gateway between the first straightforward death metal into the doom. So this is kind of a semi-doom album, and the reason is the cover. I think it's not as bad as, you know, I thought it would look, but this is the original cover, so I kind of would have liked this to be the front. You know, the other two, first and the second album was released with the original artwork, so, but you know, it's not close as bad as you know, the image that I saw on the website, but yeah, I'm very happy to have this on vinyl because, as I said, great album by Runemagick. And you know, if you think Runemagick is too slow nowadays, check this out. This is you know, the transcendence between death metal and their form now. Then of course, one of the, I don't think I've shown this, but nevertheless I will show it again, Ophis Spew 4th Odium. Excellent. I mean, Odium, I don't think they have one bad release at all. It is of course double vinyl, no, the lyrics are here, so there are no lyric sheets or anything, but Doomy, Death Doom, whatever you call it, Doomy Death Doom, great album. And I mean, if you don't know Ophis, you should check him out because it's a quality band and this is a quality release. It will be on my list for this year. Played it quite a bit lately. Arrived late, a lot of great stuff came out late this year. And another that didn't, you know, has been out for quite a long time, but I did not receive my copy until a week ago. And Anthony over Metal Miners, you know, he asked me several months ago what I thought about, you know, the Execration of Mortality with Cerebral Rot. It's a great album. I won't say fantastic, but it's great, heavy death metal, just the way that we want it. You can't sit down and not enjoy yourself listening to this. Yeah, it's just great. There are, of course, you know, you have the autopsy elements, especially on the drumming. It's very autopsy sounding in my ears. But the sound is, you could say autopsy as well, but you have kind of elements of immolation, this weird guitar lines going in there, and yeah, absolutely love it. Have of course not played it enough. It won't be on my top 20 list because of that, but it's certainly gonna be in an honorable mention. Yeah, massive poster as always, from 20 bucks spin, and you know, dinner. I guess everybody that are kind of following death metal nowadays have heard this album or heard of it, and 20 bucks spins, you know, another great year from them. check it out. And finally, yeah, half an hour, not bad for all that stuff. Have a fantastic new year, everybody, and my lists will be coming shortly, but still struggling a little bit on putting them together, but that's a good sign. That's a quality sign. So thanks for watching, and vi kjøst.